कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लिबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, 15 children in need of urgent surgery. Number of drowning cases a major concern. And later in sports, Namosi retains Fairbrother Sullivan Trophy.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
60 children with congenital heart disease in the country are in need of operation, and 15 of them are in critical condition. This was revealed by Sai Prema Foundation's Director Sumit Tapu during the Foundation's 4th anniversary celebration in Suva today. Tapu adds work on the Children's Heart Hospital is still underway. Kritika Kumar has more.
The Sai Prema Foundation's $25 million Specialist Children's Heart Hospital in Nasese will open once the necessary equipment are installed.
A few months from now, the borders will open. We expect the installers to come in and install the specialist medical equipment, and we can't wait for the day when Sir, you, Madam, inaugurate this hospital. We hope it's not too far away.
The Prime Minister highlighted almost 2,000 children have been screened for free through the Gift of Life project, and the foundation has saved the lives of 73 children.
I believe that we all have a duty to each other, not just as Fiji citizens, but as human beings. And if more act out of compassion and concern for our country and our fellow citizens, the easier it will be to build a Fiji that truly realizes its potential.
The Prime Minister also acknowledged the work done by the Sai Prema Foundation Fiji over the years.
I'm particularly moved by your mission to promote love, peace, and unity among all Fijians, and to promote better spiritual well-being. And you live those principles by providing your services at no cost to all Fijians, irrespective of race, religion, caste, or creed.
Meanwhile, the Sai Prema Medical Center began its operation 2 years ago and has served over 10,000 patients and assisted 18,000 children with heart conditions. Over 5,500 people in rural Fiji have also benefited from the Foundation's medical outreach camps. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
The Minister for Education has raised concerns over the death of 7 children in the past 2 weeks. While officiating at the International Youth Football Academy Futsal 2020 in Pacific Harbour, Rosie Akbar called on parents to be more alert of their children's whereabouts during the week-long school holiday. The Minister says a big part of parental responsibility is investing their time in their children and ensuring they're free from harm.
As we travel across the country and work with children, there's one thing that we find disturbing is the time that we allocate to our children. Yesterday, you must have heard about 2 more drowning cases that we added to the previous week's list, and that's indeed very sad. So, parental supervision, parental engagement, please keep it your priority. They are your children, they are our children as well, and we want what is best for the children.
Government is looking at renewing and maintaining historical sites in Levuka Overlau. While visiting the old capital, Minister for Economy Ayaz Said Qayyum says Levuka is important as it is part of the Fijian historical landscape and the first seat of government amongst many other firsts for Fiji. Lena Rees has more.
This visit to Levuka was labelled a historical occasion with a number of ambassadors to Fiji accompanying the Minister for Economy on the tour.
And hopefully they can also assist us in some of the projects that we are quite keen to commence to bring up Levuka as more of a place to not just preserve the history but also get people to come to Levuka to appreciate the history, and that is really important.
The local government minister highlighted that they are also working with the Levuka Municipal Council to begin repair works to some of its historical buildings.
One such site is where you are sitting. This is our town hall, and I want to thank the Honorable Attorney General. Probably he doesn't know that, but he provided us with funds, and we managed to paint this building. And if you can see, we did a lot of consultation in getting the colors right so that it still looks heritage.
Other buildings that the local government ministry hopes to restore includes the Governor's House, the Bowling Club, as well as the Levuka Municipal Market. Lena Rees, FBC News.
The Fiji Police Force is strengthening its focus to clamp down on hard drugs operations in the country, besides their usual marijuana raids. Police Chief of Operations ACP Abdul Khan says they've made a number of arrests and seizures in relation to methamphetamine and cocaine, as this remains one of the major concerns for the force. ACP Khan adds they continue to receive information from communities regarding suspicious drug activity, which has resulted in a few arrests.
We definitely have certain operations that is undergoing, and I would not reveal much on that because the investigation is ongoing, and we have identified certain targets that we are working on them.
Up ahead, 171 projects completed under the small grant scheme, and Riverside Market Day receives overwhelming response.
Baik, jadi biar tahu. रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
More than 100,000 Fijians have directly benefited from the small grant scheme. Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama highlighted that the small grant scheme has helped fund the completion of 171 projects worth $12.6 million from 2018 to date. He says the scheme has been instrumental in facilitating and satisfying the basic human rights for rural dwellers, such as the rights to education, reasonable access to transportation, housing, sanitation and economic participation. The Prime Minister says the small grant scheme was established to finance small-scale community projects submitted to the government for assistance by various communities and organisations in Fiji. People turned out in numbers in Navua town today for the first ever Riverside Market Day despite the rain. The event, organised by the Navua Riverside Association, aims to support locals during this difficult time and also consider future development for the town. Apinisa Wangarandovu was in Navua earlier and files this report.
The Riverside Market Day was initially planned to open to 25 stalls only. However, the organizers received an overwhelming response, with 40 stall owners expressing their interest to be part of the first ever market day in the small town.
I'm extremely overwhelmed. It's such a big turnout on a rainy morning. You know, it started off raining and you can see some pools around here. But the people are in numbers and they are making money, and I'm so satisfied that we are able to help those people affected by COVID-19 and job losses.
The association chair says they are also raising funds to finance some of the projects they have planned to help develop Navua town.
We are thinking of improving bus stops or building new ones. We are looking at kindergartens if we need to upgrade them, or we need to start kindergartens or help people how to start it. And the third one is we want to look at children's park. I don't see any. I don't know if there is one. And our bigger dream, the bigger picture is we want to do a swimming pool, a public swimming pool.
Vendors say they are happy with the turnout despite the uncertain weather condition.
A rainy day sort of ruined things a bit, but people are coming along, so we're happy. We've done brisk businesses.
Since it's the first time, I would say I am satisfied.
This might be the first, but definitely not the last, as organizers are already planning for a much bigger event come October 10. Apinisa Wangarandovu, FBC News.
Hundreds turned up at Nambunrao village in North Orewa for the inaugural remembrance of the arrival of Christianity in their district 180 years ago. Village elder Williame Vakadengai says this is an occasion for the people of Northo to strengthen their resolve in tackling social issues. Josina Nunga was in Northo and files this report.
Village elders believe the historic event sets a platform for the younger generation to understand what happened in 1840 and acknowledge history. Most of our younger generation are not even aware of what happened in this place over 100 years ago. My grandparents told me that the translation of Bible scripts from English to Itauke initially started here before proceeding to Viwa Island. Additionally, training for pastors and lay preachers first started in Northo. Reverend Kinichochi Serutoki, who is serving his first year in the Northern Circuit, says followers of the faith will find deeper spiritual understanding if they know how Christianity came to Northern District. He spearheaded discussions in organizing the event.
When I first came here, I was curious about the enshrine being left idle in front of the Talatala's house without any commemoration or significance. I then encouraged the church and village elders to organize an annual event to commemorate the significance of the arrival of Christianity in Nodo since 1840 for the benefit of its people, especially the younger generations.
Upon witnessing the success of the auspicious occasion, village and church leaders have agreed to make this an annual event. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
The Fijian government aims to commemorate those that have positively contributed towards their community and their country during this year's Fiji Day celebration. President Major General retired Chiochi Kondrote says this year's celebration will mark half a century of peace, prosperity and progressive development of our country. The president is also calling on Fijians to nominate who they think is deserving of the 50th Anniversary Independence Medal, promoting the country's culture of appreciation and the spirit of inclusivity of one nation. The president also stressed the importance of rewarding those that have contributed to Fiji's socio-political and economic progress since independence. Witnessing the nation you grew to love, live and work for gain its independence is something unforgettable. 80-year-old Loraini Sevua vividly remembers the exhilarating atmosphere that filled Albert Park on 10th October 1970, as she was also part of the crowds of people who were present as Fiji gained independence from the British Empire. Lena Reese has her story.
While trying to recall the events of the 10th of October 1970, Sevua says it's hard to describe the happiness and joy that people felt with Fiji becoming an independent nation.
The atmosphere can only be described as jubilant. People were overjoyed while some were reluctant because many of us were still young and we knew at the time Fiji was under British rule, and suddenly gaining independence meant a good change for Fiji and her people.
Sevua says at the time she was working in the tourism industry while studying to be a nurse, and many only knew there was a great celebration for Fiji that day.
We were still trying to comprehend what it meant to be celebrating a nation's independence at the time. We would hear the elders say, Fiji is now a republic and a nation no longer under British rule. But to us young people, it was just a big celebration we will never forget, and we knew independence was a great achievement.
After spending over 20 years in the United States and then returning upon retirement, Sevua reiterates that Fiji's independence is something she will never forget.
Independence Day is a very unique day.
It is very hard to forget. The Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, was even present to hand over the instruments of independence to Fiji after being a British colony for a long time. This is something we hold dear to us who were present at Albert Park.
Sevua is confident that Fiji becoming an independent nation is a change that was inevitable, a change that needed to happen and will continue to be celebrated in years to come. Lena Reese, FBC News.
Ahead in sports, Namosi defeats Nandronga in Fair Brother Challenge, and Rewa football aims to win remaining matches. Details after the break.
Pula nadang go approach lang kerse, go erkraki. Do televisi na barong na Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
Namosi has successfully defended the Fairbrother Sullivan Trophy following their 15-6 win over Nandronga at Ratadakambao Park this afternoon. This is Namosi's second win over Nandronga this season after beating them 15-8 in round 2 of the competition at Lawanga Park. Meli Nakarawa sealed the win for Namosi, scoring a brilliant setup try in the last few minutes of play. Manager Joe Vosinimbola says the team has proven they can defend the Fairbrother Trophy throughout the season.
First of all, we want to thank the Almighty Lord for the win today and the strength, the weather today. He provided that for us. And we want to prove today that we can win the Fairbrother for the rest of this season.
The Thai level rugby side secured a crucial home game win yesterday, giving them some hope of remaining in the Skipper Cup competition. Thai level was a much improved team, outclassing Lautoka 31-12 at Ratadakambao Park. Tale Matairikula has more.
Thai level reflected on their past mistakes and made sure the same was not repeated in the clash against Lautoka.
I told the boys you have to work on the small things. I believe mental preparation was our drawback last week. Spiritually, the boys working because last week we didn't have any yellow cards. We work on the mental toughness and also our running lines.
Head coach Samison Imbaike Tonga says the win was a much-awaited one as they owed it to their supporters and families.
And we told the boys to gel together. We need to please the crowd. No, Tele has done a lot for us. We have to give them something back to them.
Lautoka captain Elisa Leather says simple errors cost them the game.
We know that we did not perform to expectation, we failed to execute our game plan, and we started slow in the first half. However, we came in the second half with some sense of urgency, but it was not enough.
Tailevu now anticipates a tough clash with Nandronga next week, while Lautoka takes on Yasawa. Talima Terukula, FBC Sports.
Fiji-born All Blacks winger Seburi scored 3 tries as Tasman defeated Northland 54-21 in their Mitre 10 Cup clash last night. The Southern Division proved their worth in the Police Inter-District Championship, defeating Western 2-1-0 to scoop the title after a lapse of 10 years. The side came in as underdogs in the competition and lived up to the tag after beating defending champions Police Special Response Unit 1-0 in the semi-final. Tale Matairikula again with this report.
The Southern Division turned heads following their consistent performance in the 3-day tournament.
We were not rated in this tournament, but nevertheless, when they approached me, I stepped up the training. I had 3 weeks good intensive training with these guys.
Khan says the hard yards put in during training has paid off.
I taught them a lot of system of attack, and then how to contain ball in the midfield, defense, goalkeeping, all sections of the technical aspects covered it.
Player of the tournament, Felipe Ambara Vilala says the win was a special one.
After the semi-final, told myself and told the boys that we are going to win this. I don't know how we're going to win it, but I gave all my best and that opportunity came, so I grabbed it with both hands, so I scored.
Baravilala says retaining their Sukuna Bowl soccer title is next on the agenda. Talima Terukula, FBC Sports.
The Rebel football side knows there are no two ways in claiming the Vodafone Premier League title but to win all their remaining matches. This is the ultimate goal of the Delta Tigers as they aim to maintain their top position in the points table. Head coach Marika Rondu says the team hopes the odds will be in their favour as they gear up for their coming matches.
I'm hoping that we wrap up the 2020 season on a high note with securing the Nestle League title. So with 12 points still at stake, we're looking to win all the points at stake.
Fiji Mbati and Parramatta Eels winger Micah Sivor scored a try to help the Eels defeat the Broncos 26-12 in their NRL clash night. The Eels now move up to 3rd place on the ladder with 28 points, 7 away from leaders Panthers. And in weather, cloudy periods with some showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Mainly fine weather with isolated brief afternoon and evening showers affecting the rest of the country. Quick look at the weather map looking in the west. Fine weather was experienced during the afternoon. And apart from that, there were brief afternoon showers. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, brief showers were experienced over major centres. And up north, fine apart from afternoon and evening showers. At sea, a high-pressure system to the southwest of Fiji directs a fresh to strong southeast wind flow over Fiji waters. Southeast winds 20 to 25 knots can be expected. Rough seas with moderate southerly swells. Turning to the tides, the next high tide is at 7:59 tonight with a low tide at 2:13 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 5:58. Now for tomorrow, expect similar conditions to prevail in most centres. And our further outlook, we're looking on to Monday. Expect cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands, mainly fine weather elsewhere. And recapping the main stories for tonight, 15 children in need of urgent surgery, number of drowning cases a major concern, and Namorsi retains Fairbrother Sullivan Trophy. For these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question this week, we're asking, do we need to have lifeguards at all picnic spots and beaches? Visit our FBC website to answer. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos to email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News and our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight from the team and I. Stay safe, stay warm and dry. Bye for now.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.